Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. One of the absolutely best times of the year. I tell people this. Hey, you want to separate yourselves from some of the absolute shitty shows that are out there? Come here to Big Sills. But as we always do, we start the program off by doing this. Big Sills! 55 days until the start of training camp. How about this? Look at Prince already starting the program out, taking victory laps with helmets and shorts. Holy shit, is this guy off the rails? My guy's looking great running around playing tag. Wow! Did you see that, Sills? Holy shit! I mean, this guy's going to win the Quez Watkins Award for the most valuable player in helmets and shorts. Wow! From now on, we are going to name the Philadelphia Eagles Quez Watkins Award, and Prince is going to hand out the Quez Watkins Award for helmets and shorts. Congratulations, the Prince Award. Hey, did you see that guy running around playing tag? Unbelievable. I was right. They're not tackling anybody or in full gear. Who cares? Oh my God! He's a stud! Helmets and shorts. And Prince is giving out the Quez Watkins Award of the year. 94 days until the Packer game for the Eagles in Brazil. And we now are in day 2 of the Sirianni minicamp. Hey, Hurts, once again, like we said here, with the, how come Prince ain't doing this? Supposedly, Hurts once again sucked today. Day 2, another bomb day for your quarterback. Oh, Devin White, I was right. Well, you may not be right about Hurts, because if Devin White's a star, Hurts sucked. Okay? Oh my God. Did he really? Yeah, he was up and down. 13 to 18 with a pick. And all underneath passes. Well, this is what I've been told. Okay? Hurts sucked again. But here's Xander and everyone. Don't worry about it. You know, shit. Come on now. Don't worry about it. You're only 55 days to camp. Less than 2 months. Big Sills. Missing already, crying about Zimmer. Love it. 304. Oh my God. 304. I am so happy that 304 is here. Okay? I am so happy. Mr. Perez, Xander fired this dude, put Philly 500 in it and said, they gave me an extra hour, dickhead. Fire me? They want to give me another hour. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? 304. Are you here? 304, I got a question for you. Just a question for you. 304, are you here? Dude, it's not a rip. It's a question. Okay, I'm not going to rip. You know I love you in here, man. By the way, Mark Holmes is going to be here by himself. Philly 500's kids graduating, so kudos to him. Wait a minute here. DFW, Big Sills ain't going nowhere. Hey, listen here. Another Hurts pick to Blankenship. Oh, no! He can't even play catch. DFW. Let me ask you something. And 304. You see Michael Parsons holding. Here's something that really does resonate with me that the Phillies do great. 304, listen, tell me something. So I heard Michael Parsons saying that I'm going to be the highest paid player, non-quarterback in the NFL, and I'll wait my turn. CD's talking about being the highest paid non-quarterback. Dak is not really talking about it, but everyone else is talking about money. Isn't that funny? I never heard one word of money coming out of New England during that entire 20-year run. Nobody was talking about being the highest paid anything. They talked about winning. No position player was talking about getting paid because the Patriots moved off them. There was none of that. All the Cowboys do is talk about who's going to be the highest paid TV star. There lies your problem. There's the problem right there with the Cowboys. The Eagle guys really don't even talk about money. If anybody talks money, it's me. As a matter of fact, Devontae Smith is exactly the prime example. And it's the polar opposite of Dallas. Devontae Smith could have got $10 to $15 million more. Okay? $10 to $15 million more if he waited. Wasn't an issue. In Dallas, it's an issue, money. There's your problem, man. Everybody's self-centered. That's not a team-oriented situation or culture. That's a culture that is fostered in me being me, not we being team. Plain and simple. Dallas Cowboy players are worried about being TV stars and making the most money. People in Philly are not. I mean, all I hear out of Michael Parsons is money. And I get it. But most good teams, I mean, not even, Kansas City kind of went through it a little bit. But they move off of people too. Hey, they make it very clear. Honey Badger, out. Tyreek Hill, out. Snead, out. You want to start barking money? Here's who I think we need. Chris Jones, Kelsey. Rest of you guys, your commodities that will be dealt with when your contracts are up. Hey, one thing that you do keep in Kansas City that you don't in Dallas, you know what that is? Everybody in Kansas City is wondering if we'll get a second deal. Even the corner that they got from Washington, that McDuffie, will he get another deal? I don't know. Kansas City keeps that in limbo, which keeps players on their toes. They may move off him too. CeeDee Lamb's talking about making big money. I mean, everybody wants their money in Dallas. Too bad they don't want championships any longer in Dallas. Hey, it's the facts. They are television stars in Dallas. They are not football players. Every single one of those players will be overpaid and not worth the contracts you give them. Because I'm going to make a point here for a second. Okay? I'm going to make a point here. How many people in here, and I know most of you are Eagle guys. Is Dak a $60 million a year guy? No. Is CD a $35 million a year guy? No. Is Micah Parsons? He's the lesser of all of those two. He's the lesser of the three. And he's going to make he's going to make more money than any position player. And he's going to make more money probably than Justin Jefferson. Let me make a point to you here on this. This is where the Eagles are spectacular. And you do have to give Howie a lot of love here for this. Here, So let me get this right. Christian McCaffrey is making $19 million and Justin Jefferson is making 35. Almost half. Really? Who would you want on your team? Jefferson or McCaffrey? Missing is the only one talking money. CD isn't. I heard CD say he wants to get paid big money too. I honestly think Micah leaves Dallas next year. So how is McCaffrey making $19 million and he does 10 times more than Justin Jefferson? He does 10 times more. 10 times more than that guy does. That guy's not going to help you win a Super Bowl, Jefferson. McCaffrey is. Because he's a multifaceted player. You can line him up wide receiver, he'll get you 1,000 yards. Put him in the backfield, he'll get you 1,000 yards rushing. You're telling me you think Justin Jefferson is more of a value player than that guy is? That can get you 2,000 total yards from the line of scrimmage? Are you out of your mind? That guy will never win or get close to a Super Bowl in his entire pro football career, Justin Jefferson. Never will get close to it. He will never sniff a Super Bowl. And he makes double the money almost? That's value. How in the world is Justin Jefferson making double the money that McCaffrey makes? That's right. McCaffrey's the entire 49er offense. Paul goes, yes, that I agree with. And he should have waited until next season to sign a new deal. D. Smith may have wanted that signing bonus now in 24 instead of waiting until next year. I think what Xander said is absolutely correct. It's not so much the deal. It's the fifth-year option that was added into the deal, which kept him off the market. Okay? Fly Eagle Fanatic is dead on. McCaffrey is the engine to that entire 49er offense. Sills, would you rather have A.J. Brown or Lamb? That's not a conversation. It's not a conversation. It's by far Brown. Dude, put Brown in that slot. He'll have $2,000. Going against safeties versus corners? Come on, man. Jefferson's elite? If Jefferson's elite, what's McCaffrey with 1,000 receiving and 1,000 rushing? What do you call that? What do you call, and I've pointed this out to you, that all of these dude, the entire list of all the big-time money receivers, pre-Tyreek Hill's big deal, Hill ain't going to any Super Bowl anytime soon. Devontae Adams is not going to any Super Bowl anytime soon. Jefferson's not going to any Super Bowl anytime soon. They're not. CeeDee Lamb is not going to any Super Bowl anytime soon. So when you pay these guys, McCaffrey may get back there again this year. He may get back there this year. 2 years in a row he may get. I'll tell you what, he's been to 2 NFC Championship games in a row. Name me any of those wideouts who have been to NFC title games. Okay? How does McCaffrey's contract make Barkley look now? Like, dude, he's another guy. John Ritchie at IP is expecting him to get 2,000 yards this year, Barkley. I get it. That's what you guys think too. John Ritchie expects him to get 2,000. No way. No way. You think he's going to approach 900 yards receiving? and 1,000 yards rushing. Okay. Who are those targets getting taken away from? AJ? No way. Didn't Nick say it the other day that the guy who was targeted the most in practice was AJ Brown? Wasn't Barkley. Richie's out of his mind. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. You can do that in Shitsville, New York with the Giants when you have nothing in the huddle. But when you've got Pro Bowlers at every offensive skill set position, you're not doing that. And some would go, well, Sills, what about McCaffrey in San Francisco? He did that. Debo's no 1,000-yard, 1,400-yard receiver. Kittle doesn't get 1,000 yards. Ayuk had the best year of any other player in that huddle. The rest of it was McCaffrey. It was McCaffrey. Are you under the impression that San Francisco puts up the same numbers and their offensive skill set guys that the Eagle guys do? No, they don't. The majority of that offense runs through that guy, CMC. Okay? I thought Barkley was getting 1,500 yards. I never said that. Eagles, Devontae Smith has no regret signing before wide receiver market. Can't be counting pockets of others. Dude, once again, you completely missed the point. You completely missed the point. And I'm not belaboring the point any longer. It's a fucking stupid move. Getting targeted a lot doesn't mean getting force-fed. The guy is always open, and Dak doesn't put the ball in harm's way. AJ's actually force-fed. Some truth to that. Some truth to that. There is. Barkley getting 800 yards and 600 yards passing. C24? That sounds about right. And being a great pass pro back to protect blitzing. That's right. C24 is more, in my opinion, in what you're going to see. And that's an upgrade from what you had with DeAndre Swift. You'll go, but he didn't get $1,000. Yeah, but he got 600 receiving yards. And that 600 receiving yards is probably going to be 56 catches. That's a lot. Compared to in your 3 wide receiver hole, you had what, 36 catches last year? How many catches did Swift have? 20? That's a huge impact. $2,000? Yeah, $2,000 when there's nobody in the huddle. Like, get this. Here, let's do this. If Saquon Barkley played in Kansas City, he'd get $2,000. Receivers are nobodies. The tight end's going to get the majority of the work. And the rest would go to Barkley. And they would run him. Barkley and that Kansas City offense would have a ton of yardage. But when you got A.J. Brown and you got Devontae Smith, dude, you got a lot more people at the dinner table than you do in Kansas City. Common sense. You're not spending that money to downgrade the catches and the targets of Devontae. Wait, putting CD in the slot is like force feeding what are you guys talking about? No, they did force feed AJ because they were only throwing to the numbers a year ago. They weren't spreading that ball around. They threw it to 2 people. That's a fact. You know what is crazy? Jalen Hurts had 1103 snaps versus Purdy's 936 snaps in 23. This guy took less snaps and did more. Spread the ball around more and threw for 4,200 yards. That's insane. Hey, also this one too. Do me a favor. Senor, take a look at the passing attempts. Hurts' passing attempts compared to Purdy's passing attempts. I think it's like 100 difference in the amount of passing attempts that he had. Maybe even 150 less attempts, and he did more. So with less snaps and less attempts in passing, he blew Hurts off the map last year, and he had more wins, and he crushed you on the field. So don't start talking to me about Jalen Hurts being better than Purdy when every single thing he did last year on the field, you weren't in the room with him. You weren't in the room with what that guy did by spreading the ball around. Okay? I mean, I guarantee you, he had maybe 150 less passing attempts. And look at the damage he did. Hurts is better than Purdy? Where? This guy's been to 2 NFC title games in a row, C24. Name me one thing Jalen's done better than Brock Purdy. Give me one thing he's done. One thing. What? He's mandatory minicamp is not till next week with the Jets. I can't believe we signed Rashad Penny and never played him. They did that to keep him away from Dallas. Played good in the Super Bowl. Jesus, criminy. 2 years ago, dude. Give me something new. How about some new content? Instead of Hurts playing good in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. How about that one? You tell me shit like that. How about you guys coming up with something new? How about something new, C24? Give me something new. Senor, Hurts passing attempts. Look at this number. Purdy had 444 passing attempts. Hey, Xander, can you put that stat up for me? Senor's last one, when he put those numbers up for me, if that would be huge for me if you can. Or, Senor, if you can repost that, because I'd like to read that there. He had 444 passing attempts, took less snaps, and threw for more yards and more touchdowns, and spread the ball around in San Francisco, and McCaffrey was a weapon. AJ was getting targeted as the clear-out guy, okay? Senor, put that back. There it is. Senor passing attempts, 538. Purdy, 444. Come on, man. Give me a break. Okay? Give me a break. Hurts made all-pro. Yeah, so did Gardner Minshew last year. Congratulations to you. Quite a club. Quite a club. Does Jalen pass for over $4,000? I don't know. I don't know. Hurts snap wouldn't have been worse if he didn't have the tush push to extend drives and created more snaps. He'd have had more turnovers. Correct. He'd have had more turnovers. Okay? All right. So, I'm being told something now from certain people. And I've got to be careful here because I got some insight on the first day of practice. First day of minicamp, I should say. And it's good to have some folks in the building. No names. And by the way, as I said, Mark Holmes will join us at 3:30. Philly 500 can't today. Jason Cole at 4:30. He'll join us. And as everyone knows, we traditionally put a name on our people. We're not the gossip people that you have in your market when they go anonymous sources. I've already said some of the names that you guys know that I know close that are in that Philadelphia Eagle organization and I talk to daily. And they had some takeaways. Now, some of the wording will be my wording, so I'll make sure that I express to the fact that this is my wording. Okay? Big Sil's first day Eagles minicamp takeaways. Hurts has been up and down. Has not looked sharp. What was the number? If I'm exact here on it, I want to be exact. 13 to 18 and a pick. And most of them were underneath short passes in his first day. If Prince is giving Devin White all-pro status, I guess it doesn't matter to Hurts, right? 13 to 18 with a pick and underneath passes. He was up and down. He was up and down, and he's still learning the system. He's struggling. He's struggling. Okay? Struggling. So, there's one. And quite frankly, this is set up 7-on-7 for success. He hasn't played well in 5 months. At anything he's done, whether it's a game, practice. Get this. Let's put everything and let's be objective. He hasn't done anything well in 4 months. Nothing. Led, practice, game. I'm missing this. And everything's okay. It's not a big deal, right, Sills? Well, when you put everything into context, he's not done anything well since Buffalo. Am I wrong? And Richard's right. Who cares? This guy has not had a good moment on a football field since the Buffalo Bills overtime game. And you're okay with that. He hasn't practiced well. He hasn't led the team well. And he hasn't played well. But it's okay. Wouldn't you want to try to erase that and erase it and start new? Or is this going to be another blaming of another coordinator at the end of the season here? That's what I fear. This will be just another blaming of another coordinator. Okay? But probably nothing. I'll go here with you. That's Sills. Don't sweat it. When did I say that, you idiot? I was right about White eye regard to the business and him taking it personally. You're not good at this, man. I know. I've sucked for 40 years doing this. I know, Prince. I'm not good at this. I've been doing this longer than you've been alive. Always remember that, Sonny boy. It's probably not a thing. Okay? It's probably not a thing. Can he flick it? Can he flick it? Let's go flick it. Yes, sir. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And NFC East Clips says this is why you keep getting. I don't get fired. I've been fired twice in 40 years. 40 years, twice. Wasn't for production. Was because, you know why? I'm a little edgy. Imagine that. At least I don't get fired because I suck. I get fired because I say something. Okay? Oh, man. Oh, my God. Guys, don't get so upset here with the messenger. The NFL, here it is. PL. The NFL figured Hurts out. Weaknesses, scheme, him into playing that way. You're all talk, bro. Well, that's what I do, jackass. Hey, Prince. Well, that's what I do, dude. Silio's all talk. Duh. 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 Dan is the Eagles' Rush Limbaugh. No, I don't think so. No. No. Not true. I'm here to promote. I love that rugby. I love that. You're okay. Oh, let me see, Sileo. You don't look for positives because looking for positives doesn't make you better. Jesus criminy. None of you people have ever been coached. You don't work on your positives. You work on your negatives, ass bag. And you point them out because the negatives are what hold you back from being Super Bowl champions. Not talking about how good you are, what a nice guy you are, what do you do in the community and all that. That has nothing to do with winning football games. Working on your weaknesses, ass bag, is how you become a champion. Once again, Eagle fans, you're right here. Act like it. You act like you're here. Act like it. You're right here. Which means have a little bit more attention to the detailed things that you don't do well. And then maybe you'll have an epiphany one morning and wake up and go, you know that guy I watched for 4 hours? Or that guy I watched for an unprecedented hour of my life every day was right. Was right. Flexing goes, we have some delusional fan sills that can't help it. I know this. It's a disease. It's a disease. Okay? It's a disease. Sills, real Eagle fans from Philly ain't like these soft ass boys. Hey, Bob, I know that. Bob, there's more people like you and some of these snowflakes in here that cry and moan anytime somebody says anything constructive to a player or about a coach. I know that. Most of them are like you and Xander. You don't melt in a pan like a piece of butter and start falling apart all over yourselves. I can't believe it. Hater. Oh my God. Hater. Hater? It's got nothing to do with hating. It's got everything to do with wanting to be great. Dude, it's a great point. DMAC. That is the greatest comment. Anybody who was ever satisfied in professional sports or in any sporting activity that you do, right, Bob? If you're satisfied and you're happy with what you're seeing, you're a loser. No champion is satisfied. Brady was never, you know what made Tom Brady the greatest quarterback of all time? He was never satisfied with what he did in his life. That guy's a miserable dude. You know why? He's chasing the next one. No champion looks back at their resume while they're playing and go, you know, I think this is why LeBron James is 4-6 in NBA Finals. This guy's always counting his trophies before he's done. Hurts 34-17 as a starter. That's not true. Okay? That's not true. He's not 34-17 as a starter. 9-8, 14-3, and 11 and 7, 34-17, and 2-3 in the postseason. He's 36-20. 2-3 in the postseason. That's what he is. Not true. He's 36-20. Yeah, well, he's 36-20. And there were a couple missed games. There are probably two because they lost those two. So you're right. He doesn't get credit for those two. So he's more like 32. He's 34-20. Yes. Who said Jalen satisfied? I never said he was. I wasn't talking about him. I was talking about Tom Brady. Okay? I was talking about, and I forgot, the 1-3. That's right. And 21. So he's 23. He's 34-23. It's not bad. That's not horrible. It's actually good. With a Super Bowl appearance in there, it's not bad. And he's 2-3 in the postseason. Not bad. Of course you're confused, Prince. You're running around your life confused. It's all right, brother. I love you. You know that. Eagles can't develop talent as an organization. Devontae's being developed. But then again, Devontae was developed coming out of college. Tell you what, those offensive linemen are being developed. They're being developed. Folks, please hit the like button. You were great yesterday. Let's get to 200. All right, let me get back to some of the takeaways from today's practice. Day 2. Hurts was up and down. Okay, let's move off of him. Because everyone gets their panties in a bind over that. You want a positive? Kelee Ringo. It's true. Day 1, he was great. Today, he was great. I mean, supposedly, but what folks are saying, or his first day of practice, not today, but yet his first day of practice was really good. Moving around well. They like his activity. Kelee Ringo is making a step up from a year ago. That's a great sign. Ringo starting right now. From what I heard, it was Slay and Ringo yesterday with the first team. So, yeah, I'm glad you like Clint Hurt, Thaddeus. One of the most imposing and intimidating men you'll ever meet in your life, and he's a great guy. And I love the guy to death. He's one of my boys. I love him. Absolutely love him. We've been friends for 25 years. Love the guy. Okay? Here's something, too. Bradberry at safety. Tell me something here. What's your take on this? I'll ask you this. MJ had the highest selling album and wasn't satisfied. Why would greatness is never satisfied? Correct, 304. Tell me what your take is on this, because I still can't get my arms wrapped around this. So Bradberry was at safety. He took a couple snaps, and then for the rest of the practice, they had him on the sidelines with his helmet off the rest of the time. So what exactly are you doing with him? What's going on here with this? Is this some rouge that they're playing? I'm not getting why he's on the team. There's two people that should not be on the team right now. One is Nick Sirianni, and the other one is James Bradberry. What is he doing there? I'm not, and then you got him in the safety position. I don't know. I'm really not getting this and what they're trying to accomplish here. I mean, I'm not getting it. Something else here that was very, very good. Do you guys remember me saying this about JAKIB Becton? Remember what I said about him? I said I'd like to have him play right guard. Well, Landon Dickerson has a excused absence from camp. And the Eagles are cool. There's some personal issue. And I don't think there's anything to this at all. There's a personal issue he's dealing with. And Becton has been taking snaps at left guard. And Jeff Stoutland didn't even know that he was that athletic and that versatile enough to be able to play. My intention is to play him at right guard. Okay? To play him at right guard. That's a freaking great sign. Can you imagine a 6'7", 340-pound guy at the right guard position next to a 6'5", 330-pound Lane? You got a 6'5" Landon Dickerson, and then you've got a 6'8" Jordan Mailata. I'll tell you this. You might need an extra airplane to charter for them horses to get off the plane. That's like a stable at Belmont. That's insane size. You have to be the biggest offensive line in pro football. I mean, that is enormous men. You couldn't line up in a 30. They would devour you. He's 6'7", 365. Bob, 6'7", 6'8", 6'5", 6'5". Dude, it's like an NBA basketball team. Wow. I tell you what, how about that? I don't know if they're going to be the best O-line in Eagle history. I do know this. They're going to be the biggest offensive line the Eagles have ever had. That is gargantuan. And dude, the guy who's the shrimp is in the middle. That's okay. Centers are traditionally 300-pound guys, 295, 6'2" shorter guys because they have to get leverage underneath the nose. So that's normal. Most guys aren't like a Ray Donaldson at 6'6" or 6'5", or Bruce Matthews. Very few guys are that size at center, or like a Don Mosbar, 6'7". You don't see a lot of that. Those guys are crazy great athletes. They're more 6'2", 6'1", 6'3". That's been a tradition in the NFL, that size. God, that's such a great, I'm telling you one more time. Okay? One more time. That sign might be the greatest move this offseason that the Philadelphia Eagles have made, is the guy JAKIB Becton. Howie trying to build Bradberry trade value up. Yeah, but Nick, I'm not fooled by it if I'm a GM. Nick, he's got an $11 million price tag for his salary. Why would I sign the guy? Because he played him a couple reps in minicamp at safety? Then he sat him the rest of the time? Right? Why would I do that? I mean, that's it's dumb, and you're taking reps away from guys who actually need it. Hey, Prince, I'll tell you something else too. We make the comment about AJ and Devontae helping the young secondary out. How would you like to be Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis and Milton Williams and Bryce Huff, and you got to go against them dudes. Tell you what, man, helmets and shoulder pads doesn't matter when you're doing pass probe and you're in pass rush drills. Okay? It doesn't matter whether you have gear on or not and you're in pass rush. Them are big dudes, man. Chargers cut their center. Should Eagles pursue? No. Well, they're not getting a lot out of that Hennessy guy. So that Hennessy guy doesn't look like he's doing much in camp. From what I understand, they're torturing that guy when it comes to pass probe, getting right around him. I don't think his knee is healed or his injury that he had. I don't think it's healed because he's not performing well. They sat Bradberry because they said he got hurt. Michael, of course they did. They don't want him to get hurt. So wait a minute, Michael, get this. You want to hear something crazy, Michael? So if Bradberry's agent goes to him and say, you know what you should do? You should go down so you can get your 11.2 because if you get cut, nobody's going to sign you for 11.2. The Eagles are on the hook for it. So if a sniper hits him at camp today and he decides to go out and he's done for the rest of the year, Eagles are on the hook for $11.2 million. Why would you even practice him in the first place? It doesn't make sense in being on the team. That's right. See what Wayne just said? Bradberry tweaked an ankle. Of course he did. Because they don't want to practice him that much. Hey, when you get hurt, you pay the player. Why didn't they cut him June 1st? Crowley, I asked you that yesterday, and no one could answer it. Okay, let me get back to Becton. Becton playing guard it's great. Absolutely great. Fantastic. Fantastic. Danny, was Barkley limping today? I did not hear that. And I have not heard today's report yet. And I only heard yesterday's report. Martin goes, Sills, Bradberry stepped on us. He stepped on a snail. You're getting, that's it. Way to go. Yes. Bradberry wouldn't be sold. Wouldn't be so bad. We were saying the same about Steven Nelson. Okay. Hurts going to need stilts over that. Right. Absolutely. Dude, 6'8", 6'5". Cam Jurgens, 6'7", 6'5". Woo! That thing looks great. I mean, holy cow, man. Airplane's going to need extra fuel to get those guys across the country. Unbelievable, man. All right. So I guess they're playing Campbell a lot in the slot. Is that right? They got him in the slot. Like to see a little bit more AJ in there a couple more times. Hey, Senor, I like O-line and D-line because that's where you win your championships. Oh, I am excited. Hey, Senor, anytime you want me to talk something positive, you just bring up your offensive line. That is a great-looking group. And if Becton can be the guy who they thought was the 11th pick out of Louisville with the Jets in 2020, then you got yourself unbelievable skill set. I can't tell you. Phil Simms was raving about the guy. So was Brian Baldinger on the program raving about him. I agree. I see this offseason totally differently, Sills. Our biggest weakness was the defense. If Jalen keeps throwing picks, that's fine. He will learn from it. The defense has to dominate. Yes. But remember something, Prince. This 7-on-7 kind of stuff is set up for offense, not really for the defense. All right? Sills, you must be dissatisfied with the lack of quality football you watched. I did. Eagles sucked last year at the end of the year. It was terrible. It was brutal. Thanks. You're right. With that O-line, I wouldn't zone block those guys. They're maulers. And I don't are you saying you wouldn't zone block those guys because you don't believe that their feet are good enough? Just people need to understand practice is not supposed to be easy. And Fangio is making Hurts understand defensive schemes. It's so true. So true. Hey, get this. Let me ask you something. Martin, let's do something here. Let's do something here. How good do you think, and this never gets reported, let's take Patrick Mahomes. What do you think is the number one reason that Patrick Mahomes, besides his legendary talent, is great? Prince, what do you think, besides his great talent, makes him great? What would be the reason that he's great? His relationship and trust with Reed. One. What else? His will. Okay. There's one more significant thing you're missing. There's one significant thing you're missing. His IQ. Smart guy. Thank you, Kyle. See, Kyle? You're going against the best coordinator in pro football. Spags. Every practice. 4-time Super Bowl champion defensive coordinator. He's doing everything in practice to make his practice harder. You got the best offensive coordinator calling plays and the best defensive coordinator scheming defenses every day in practice to make your life harder. Can you imagine for Mahomes going into a game when he goes against a lesser coordinator and he sees the game so wide open? It must look like, you see, the Kansas City Chiefs have one advantage that no other team has. Their games are easier because they practice harder and they have better coaches, which means they prepare you better. One of the greatest advantages I had was being around Jimmy Johnson. Those same coaches went to Dallas. Offensively and defensively, our games were never hard on weekends. They were the easiest part of the week. The week was the hardest part of the year. How many times do you hear Dave Wannstedt say that when he comes on here? We used to have coaches like Buddy Ryan come to our practices, and he was the head coach of the Eagles, and he would say this: I can't believe what I'm watching. I've posted that picture of Buddy at our practices going, I can't believe what I'm watching. And no wonder you guys kill everyone. And that's why he came down and coached us 3 years in a row. It's because he couldn't believe what he was seeing. Our games were so easy. That's right, Martin. Fangio's going to make Jalen better. And you know what, too? Hey, Martin, I never thought of it this way. Maybe one of the reasons that Jalen is struggling is because Vic is improving the defense. right in front of our eyes. That's a good thing. That's a great sign. That side of the ball needs as much help as possible. And if Hurts is up and down in practice and the quarterbacks are not looking good, well, okay, it could be its fact. You see Jeff Kerr and ESP going, well, they're installing the new offense. Well, maybe it's Vic Fangio who's making the offense look a little worse because he's putting his defense in a position of success. Did you ever put that into the room? To me, that's a good sign. That's the reason why Kansas City, you look at Kansas City and you go, you know what's crazy, dude? They got lesser talent than both the 49ers and the Eagles the last 2 Super Bowls. How are they winning? They're better prepared with a great talent. You can't beat that. Get this. The Eagles and the 49ers can't beat the Chiefs because they have an exceptional quarterback and exceptional coaching. You have exceptional talent, and that's where it lies. Kyle's good, but not good enough. I mean, their starting linebackers right now are Zach Braun and Devin White, and Dean's being rotated. That may change today. I haven't had the report yet on today, but they're getting a big look at Zach Braun right now. And they're looking at him, and Vic likes him a lot. I think they see a lot of TJ Edwards in this kid. So you've got Devin White and you've got Zach Braun right now as your starting backers, inside linebackers, with Dean backing up. This may benefit Nakobe Dean incredibly. Let him see the game. Bring him along slower. If he struggles, bring him along slower. If you really like the player that much and you want to keep the player on the field, then do me a favor. Or you want to keep the player on your roster, then slow down his process. Make him a backup. Make him a backup. I didn't realize he was a 3rd-round pick also. Thanks, Pickin. I didn't realize that. Bob says, Sills, here's the problem. Unless Moore is promoted, he'll leave. Poor play calling against a better D in practice will cause issues and hurts his development. Bob, I think it helps with Jalen. I'd rather have Jalen struggle in minicamp than I would in Brazil, wouldn't you? I'd rather have him struggling versus Vic's offense at the NovaCare Center in June than down in Sao Paulo in Brazil on the 6th of September. Wouldn't you? I mean, I'd rather have him better prepared now. Ringo and Slayer starting at the corners right now. Once again, I'm right, Sills. Hey, please hit the like button. Guys hit 200 yesterday. Thank you very much. How about this one here? I thought this was a little odd, the report I got. Mitchell's in the slot. Mitchell was in the slot on day one. That's why I kept emphasizing the need for defense to dominate, elevate. 215, thank you. Mitchell's in the slot. Get him on the field. That means this. Kelee Ringo is outperforming Quinyon Mitchell. Not a lot to read into that yet. It's not minicamp. It's not July 27th. But Kelee Ringo's outperforming everybody at the cornerback position, including the 2 draft picks. Okay? And that's how Vic sees it. I got to tell you guys, right now is head game central with that depth chart. Okay? I agree, Senor. I think that's a lot to do with it. That's where I'm going right now. Man, minicamp is it's a head nightmare. This is where they play games with the depth chart on you. And you're looking at the depth chart every day. It changes. They're effing with you as much as possible, especially when you're young. When you're Slay, you're not concerned about it. But when you're a younger player, you're looking at the depth chart. You've never seen your name. You know, some of these guys that have got drafted and have been on this Eagle roster have never seen their name in the second or third team in their entire football careers. Do you know what an absolute punch in the gut that is? To not see your name atop of a depth chart and see your name third. And you're like, what? Ringo was first round talent if he stayed in college. JH, man. Well, he's performing well. Can you imagine? Okay, so like, look, you're Quinyon Mitchell and you're Cooper DeJean, and you look up at the depth chart and you see your name second and third team. Damn. Shit. He's only 21, young dude. Hey, this guy might be a guy who you picked off the apple or you picked off the tree too soon, and he may mature in the league. That shit happens. So Kelee Ringo has gone from this on the Sills list. Okay, whatever. Okay, who? To now this. Wow. He's performing so well, he's starting on the other side of Slay. That's quite a leap. To come off the depth chart at third team to starting next to Slay? Hey, in helmets and shorts, where anyone can look good, he's outperforming everyone. I take that as a positive. That's why they're playing Mitchell and trying him and looking at him in the slot. They want Mitchell on the field. They want Mitchell on the field. Okay? Trotter's third team. Okay? It's a good thing. Let him see the game. Let him see the game. He'll get his chance with that unit. There's going to be a moment that pops up in 2024 where they're going to need him. And his best thing, be prepared and ready. That's a position where you're going to get reps. Okay? That's going to be a position where you're going to be called upon. So don't sweat it. And by the way, Eagle fans, do me a favor. Don't pressure the kid. He's not Trotter Sr. He's Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Okay? It's like the movie Ford versus Ferrari. It doesn't make you Henry Ford because your last name is Henry Ford. You're Henry Ford II. Make your own way. It's all good. Leave him alone. Okay? Mitchell got first team reps today with Rodgers and Slay. Good. Okay. They're moving everybody around. I'm not saying that this is cement. I'm saying what happened on day one. I'll get more of a report for tomorrow. I mean, Jalen up and down. We've already hit on that. I'm not going to go back over that again. Okay? Now, look, here are the most important things for veterans and for people when you're talking these mandatory mini camps. Sills, Mitchell being put on the depth chart in 2 and 3 is awesome. No position should be just handed out. Correct. The only position in that offense that has been handed out has been the quarterback position. He didn't earn it. He was handed it. Then again, Caleb Williams didn't earn that position in Chicago. He was handed it. It's not uncommon today. The difference is, though, he's the first overall pick. Jalen had to have the 22 season for him to have that job really solidified with the salary. Okay? Here's the most important issues when you're talking about these mini camps. This is an overview, okay, about what is expected and what you're looking at through the eyes of the organization. First, who shows up, and more importantly at times, who isn't there? Like, look at the Cowboys. No CD. No Micah Parsons. I mean, and they're being fined because it's mandatory. All those guys talk about in Dallas is money. Okay? They just talk about money. Number 2, one thing for sure you want to make sure you get out of. You want to get out of these next 2 days or 3 days. You want to make sure nobody gets injured. Please. No injuries, stupid injuries going into training camp. Because it's late in the year. Making roster moves, if you lose Landon Dickerson, and I know he's not there, and it's excused. You lose Malata. The Eagles are fortunate that they have Micaiah Becton. Okay, but what you don't want is you don't want A.J. Brown with a hamstring injury, slowing him up for training camp, not having him ready for the – you don't want any of that. You want to make sure your football team is as healthy as possible. And lastly, and I don't think the Eagles fall in this room here, but you got it. What the NFL does is because of the new collective bargaining agreement, they watch these practices for contact and for length of practice. And this is like a stickler with them with the collective bargaining agreement. So you'll see there will be teams fined for practicing too long and too much contact because all of these practices are filmed. And there is a strict bylaw in there for these mandatory mini camps. Can't go long, and there can't be excessive contact. Like pass rushing drills, it does. When you do a pass rushing drill, and John McMullen can tell you this, when you do a pass rushing drill, helmets and shorts or helmets in full gear, it's no difference. You're going at the guy the same velocity. You don't go in a pass rush drill any differently. So they keep an eye on that kind of stuff, the pass rush, especially pass protection. They'll keep an eyeball on that. So do I think the Eagles? I don't. But those are some of the 3 things when you're looking at minicamp. Health, get out of there. Don't get anybody injured. Who shows up and who doesn't? And contact and length of time at these practices. You got to keep a stopwatch on this shit. Okay? Yes. All right. Guy, okay, Xander, where are we in the like count? Mark Holmes is coming up. The resident cowboy honk There's no Philly 500, so I'm going to need you guys. Okay? I'm going to need you here. So Mark's going to come up here in a couple minutes. We'll have Jason Cole tomorrow. We got 102. That's a great, great start. Great start to get to 200. Fantastic, guys. Fantastic. Mark Homer. Yeah, I like it. Hit the like button. Mark Holmes on the other side. Resident Cowboy honk will be here. And I'm going to put that point to him about, dude, Micah Parsons, that's some leader. Missing Parsons. I can't stand that guy. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.